going on, Aesthetics family? I'm back, Luraynz, of course. Today's topic is about why not me. And the reason why I came across this is because I was thinking about my dad. And I remember when he told us that he had cancer. And obviously everybody was sad, devastated about the news. And the thing that he said that stuck to me was, why not me? He said, this happens to everybody. You guys gotta be strong. You guys can't give up. It was a painful moment. And luckily, thank God that my dad found out one day taking my mom to the hospital or to the doctors. And she went to go get a checkup. And out of nowhere, he said, let me go get checked. My dad, he told me that message, and I've always kept it at heart. Why not me? And it's kept me strong throughout the years. It doesn't have to be medical things. It could be like jobs and stuff like that. For example, I've worked at a dumbar. When I applied, you have to take a test. And they knew, I was fresh out of college. And when I was taking the test, my problem was that I couldn't park between the cones. But they still gave me a chance, and I thought it was the best thing ever. And I was getting paid $10 an hour to risk my life. I didn't have my G license. I wasn't armed. So I had to drive the truck for a whole bunch of hours until the shift was done. I couldn't switch with the other person and deliver the money. And as I was driving, basically I had people, talk behind my back, which isn't nothing new. People tend to do that. And, they started telling the boss that I couldn't drive and all this. I think I lasted there maybe 2 to 3, almost 3 months. And out of all days, to make long story short, I was coming in late. Traffic, things like that. And I had called the boss and I was like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm sorry that I'm late. And he was like, oh, take your time. And I already felt something in my heart. I knew that something was wrong when he said take your time, because the shift already starts. Once the truck leaves, basically they're not going to wait for you until you get there. They'll probably cover you with somebody else. As soon as I got in, I had that gut feeling. He said, sit in my office. And basically the guy that owned that company told me, we can't have you here anymore. And that day touched me because, I was new. I was new to the job. I was young. I had just bought a car. And that experience there, showed me a lot about how people think about others. I told him, I was like, yo, give me another chance. He was like, nah, I can't give you another chance. Either you put your 2-week notice or I'm gonna fire you. So imagine what options I had after I told him I bought a new car. He basically didn't even care after I told him that I had just bought a car to give me another chance. And that right there, like I said, maybe God wanted something better for me during that time. And I remember telling my grandma, and she just told me, pray to God and everything's gonna be all right. And little by little, I started to, have faith. And I think I waited no less than a week, and I found the job that I have, that I used to have, which I was there for 7 years. I went online, I Googled high-paying security jobs. I put in my application, and that same day, not even 30 minutes, they had called me. So life surprises me because I ended up staying with that company for 7 years. The good thing about the regular security company is that, there's different contracts. So I was working for a contract, which was graveyard. And I remember, long story short, that, I would look tired. I would do the graveyard, and by the time people were coming in, I wouldn't even say good morning to the people of how tired I was. I was there maybe a few months, and the same thing happened again. They told me, hey, the boss over here doesn't want you because you look tired every time people come in. But, I didn't want to put the schedule out to make you feel bad. And I appreciate that lady because, she cared about my heart at the time, about what I felt before she did anything. She was like, I didn't want you to get scared. I didn't want to question, that's why I wanted to sit down with you and talk to you. And, she calmed me down. She was like, the good thing about G4S is that they work by contracts. That they work by contract. So you're getting fired from here, but then they're gonna move you somewhere else. And she was like, you never know, just don't give up. She was like, you might get a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, weekends off. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. And I stood there for 7 years. And eventually people want to progress. Some people do, some people want to stay stuck. I started at $10, went all the way to 15. I was cool with my boss, he respected me and everything, but then his cousin was gonna be the next person up to work. like take his position. So he was training, and the guy basically got too comfortable and started like disrespecting at one point. You know, I was training somebody at the job, and he basically, you know, something had happened, and I wanted to report it to him. And as I was trying to report to him what happened, he was texting, and I didn't realize. And, you know, and he started like cursing and stuff. He was like, "Oh, don't you see I'm effing texting right now? Let me finish what I'm doing, then you can tell me whatever's going on." And I just looked at him, you know, and right there I already knew. I was like, you know, I appreciate this company, I appreciate the guy that I'm working for, but this guy, if he's taking over, I'm not even gonna bother, because if he's treating me like that right now, like a dog, I was like, you know, this is not for me. So it took that for me to move forward. And this is to show you guys that sometimes we think that things are bad when they're really not. You know, sometimes God knows that we're stuck in something, and the only way is for somebody else to treat us bad in order for us to move forward. Because if not, I've been in this school for 2 years, so I would have added 8, 9. I would have been 9 years getting $15 an hour, when right now I'm not living my best life, but trust me, I'm making double of what I was making before. What I'm trying to say is, don't question it. You have to say, you know, this happens to everybody. People get fired. People go to the hospital. People go through hard situations because it's a learning experience, and it also helps you become stronger. Every time you go through something, you become this person that you never thought you would become. Because, like I said, sometimes I get emotional because, you know, people don't want to get rejected. So throughout the time, by me going through these things and feeling rejected, I started not to care no more. You know, I'm telling you, like, I'm surprised that I'm on YouTube right now, because I'm the shyest person that you'll meet. You know, I don't like to come up to people, but I'm not that type of person to make a show or a big scene, or, you know, I was never that dude that was like the center of attention, like people say. So why not me is the reason why I wanted to touch base with this, is because I feel like we all question this. You know, we complain more than think about, you know, that sentence. And once we learn to accept that, that's when we'll see that everything starts to make sense. You know, I'm glad that I'm at where I'm at. And if I didn't go through those things, like how I mentioned in my last video, you know, the other guy said, stay in your lane. I know you guys remember that video. I would have not been where I'm at right now. You know, this brand, Aesthetics, that I don't fail to mention, would have not existed, because I would have been stuck doing something that I'm not supposed to do. I want you guys to have faith. I want you guys to believe in yourselves. I want you guys to listen to that little voice and stop questioning. Just let things happen, you know. Sometimes people break our hearts. People do things to damage us. But we got to stay strong, because God wants something better for us. And once you accept that, you'll know that everything else is going to start making sense. So for you guys that like this video, please share, like, subscribe, add me at Luraynz, add my company, Aesthetics Co. Peace.